Hello lovelies! Today I'm going to be speaking about depression, what it is and how it can be treated. Andrew, have you ever felt depressed?
I don't know, when you have to wake up early in the morning and you don't want to, and you get that feeling inside, is that depressed?
No, that's not depressed.
Okay, then I'm not so sure what depressed is.
Us humans have over 10 billion brain cells. Neurotransmitters travel through the sending cells to the receiving cells and back again. In order for this to happen though, they have to pass through a small gap called the synapse. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that is very important for our emotions. In a non-depressed brain, it gets sent to the receiving cell, and when it's done its job, it'll get reabsorbed. Depressed people have less serotonin, and when the small amount of serotonin is sent to the receiving cell, it likes to reabsorb itself back too quickly before it's done a good job. Antidepressants are designed to increase serotonin in the synapse by blocking the quick reabsorption, which allows a more normal communication between cells and thus allows you to feel and function like a more normal person.
Now for those of you who do suffer from depression, you don't have to feel guilty anymore, because just like anybody else with any kind of disability, it's not your fault. You were just born with a chemical imbalance. Have you ever felt like there's absolutely nothing to look forward to? Like on a Sunday evening when the weekend is over and all you can see is a long, boring week of school ahead of you. But for someone who has depression, they can feel this pretty much all of the time, and this is because the thoughts in their head are usually distorted, and this leaves them feeling down and depressed and usually unable to explain why. Things irritate us in life from time to time, right? But for somebody who is depressed, they can get annoyed and agitated by the slightest things. For example, if a non-depressed person is perhaps used to sitting in the front of a car and suddenly they're told they have to sit at the back, they might be a little bit irritated because this isn't what they're used to, but after a while they'll realize that it's actually more important to get to the destination safe than where you sit in the car, right? But for somebody who is depressed, they might find this situation much harder because their thoughts about things are warped by the chemical imbalance. This can lead to extreme irritation and devastation. It could even ruin their entire day. You don't find pleasure in activities that you used to like. A way to explain this could be somebody who used to enjoy sailing now finds it as joyless and bland as sitting in traffic or something. Being depressed is pretty much the opposite of being comfortable. So for somebody who's depressed, they might seek out comfort in overeating, or even comfort in controlling themselves not to eat, which is linked to anorexia. And then there's the loss of appetite that comes with the intense sadness that somebody with depression goes through on a day-to-day basis. Because your body goes under a lot of stress when you're depressed, it might lead to body aches, a lowering of the immune system, and headaches. A lot of these symptoms are pretty shitty if you ask me. I mean, who would really want to endure all these things on a day-to-day basis? So some people who are depressed use drugs and alcohol to temporarily ease the symptoms. But there are other ways of treating depression, and we are super lucky to live in a day and age where depression can be treated properly with antidepressants. Because life is too beautiful to be spent feeling unhappy. Starting antidepressants won't change you into a completely different person, but rather help you to be who you truly are. And one last thought. If you have diabetes, for example, and you refuse to take your insulin for a long period of time, you will probably end up in hospital, right? So what's so different about somebody who has major depression and needs to take medication in order to live a healthy and normal life? Not much. He changed his relationship status to being single. Once upon a time, I did in fact lose my virginity. Just like you have, or you will do someday, probably. I really hope.